Zach's coming on board. He's settled. All right. So again, like I said, we're going to start with bottle number 3. So pour out bottle number 3. This is, I had mentioned that, I know most of the bottles that we taste as we taste through these. And this just happens to be a bottle that I asked the distiller, for something special. They took care of us, got us something special, but I don't know what it is. And it's exciting. I almost made a mistake. So there's someone else in the waiting room there. So what we're going to do is go through our regular old tasting. We're going to, looking at the color. Wow. It's a little darker than what we normally see. And I'm also looking at the legs.
They're thick.
They're thick. There's some oil in this. So darker. I'm on the nose. I'm not picking up a lot of wood. I'm picking up
Thick.
fruitier.
Picking up plum.
Plum. Yeah, some of the dark fruits. But because I'm not picking up a lot of char and wood, I'm thinking that the color is coming from the barrel, and with the fruity smell, with that nose, I'm thinking this is a cask finish of some sort.
Almost like a wine.
Probably gotta taste it to find out for that for sure.
Well, I think we should do that. By the way, it's cask strength.
It doesn't
Doesn't have the nose.
It doesn't have the nose of a cask.
No, it doesn't.
But it's got the sweetness
Yeah.
of some barrel age, something something added to it.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards a sherry than a port. It's just a different fruitier flavor to me.
Mm.
Yeah, I think we could probably rule out port.
What do you think?
I don't know, I'm gonna need another bottle to find out.
Those changes after a while.
Initial gut. Do you love this?
It's good stuff.
This is fantastic.
It's got a fruity floral.
Yeah, there is a full.
So I'm not picking up any rye spice at all. I'm not picking up a peppery rye. Maybe just a hint, but there's not enough there for me to call this a rye. I think the burn I'm getting is more from the heat. It is very smooth to me on the palate, and I'm thinking more along lines of a single malt. I'm not picking up sweetness of a corn, so I'm kind of rolling out of bourbon. But I'm really, I have no clue what this is. I'm eliciting your guys's, Bruce, I'd love to hear what you have to think about this. Zach?
My problem
Ever since
was,
last week.
I totally agree. Well, it doesn't have a corn hit,
True.
but it has a rye smell, but it doesn't have the rye spice.
So a malted rye maybe. And I'm doing a single malt, but this could be a malted rye because there is just a hint of that rye bite, a little bit, but it's not.
Well, I guess I'd be curious to ask, when you get the higher proof, do you lose some of the corn flavor just because it's higher proof?
I haven't experienced that when you look at.
Okay, I mean, I do not have the palate most of these guys do, so that's why I'm asking the question.
Well, Ramon, think about when we talk about Garrison Brothers, and they're corn heavy, and we don't lose that sweetness.
Yeah.
In fact, you get more caramel, if anything.
Okay.
Yeah, even on the 130 proof.
Yeah.
I did a tiny little ice cube in here, especially since it was cast strength, to kind of see what it would do as it's proofed down a little bit.
I taste a lot of char.
Am I the only one that tastes like a dill? I know that sounds extreme.
No, that's why I was going with the rye, because I have that when I smell that growing dill in a garden.
Okay.
is where
Fantastic.
I think rye hits me. But to me, it's all in the aroma, but it doesn't have that rye bite that I'm used to.
Totally agree. The dill's in the nose, but not in the taste.
So are we leaning more towards some sort of malted rye, maybe a 2 malts aged in like a sherry cask? Is that the direction we're headed here?
If that's a leading question, then yes.
No, I am
I'm
100%
almost thinking more
brutally honest here.
toasted than charred, though.
I have zero idea what this is.
Oh, add a touch of water. It changes. Like I
Yes.
just added a
Yeah.
drip, and it changed the entire profile.
Yep.
I mean, I'm talking like less than a cap full on a water bottle, and it changed it completely up.
A little squeezer.
Yeah.
Good call on the ice.
Wow, it changed the nose too.
Yep.
Oh, wow. I like that.
I can tell you from this distiller, they do have a bottle that I love on the rocks.
It's his favorite.
His favorite on the rock bottle. This is my favorite 2 rock bottle. I got another one that's a favorite 1 rock bottle. Favorite sphere bottle.
And now what size of those rocks were on?
Yeah.
Is it the big round one or the
I
big
liked
square
it.
one? No.
I liked it stouter.
The ice
Yeah.
brought, or the water brought out some more of the spice that I think was hidden.
Let's see
I
that
think
maybe we
it
have
brought out a little
more.
bit.
I know. Good. It's like pour more.
It
Yeah,
almost brought out a little bit more sweetness for me.
It did.
I was going to go the spice route.
Could he
saying
sell more
you
if
bring it
he trimmed it down?
so it brought out some sweetness, it brought out some more spice. I still don't think it's a bourbon.
Mm.
Do y'all think it has more appeal with that bit of water in it, or do you
No, I
like
like it in
as
cask
it
strength.
was?
I like it in cask as well,
Yeah.
but it changed your profile.
For me, it brought out a few more flavors, adding a little bit of water.
The legs are so thick, they don't even run. They just like stick.
Yeah. It's
Yeah. Which I can tell you this distiller does have a pot still.
What brand?
What brand of pot still? Yeah, and you especially, I'm not going to tell you that to. A couple of you guys get too many hints here. All right, do we want to keep analyzing this, or are we ready to figure out what we got?
Figure
On to
what
the
we
next
got.
one.
Is it, I think I might know who it is.
Who do you think it is, Zach? Since you couldn't pick your own out.
I know.
Oh,
I don't
Hey,
drink
like-
that
Oh.
one. I don't drink that rye one. Goes to all the way, but I'd say Tawakaro.
That's a good guess, actually. That is a good guess. But you're wrong.
I know. I'm usually wrong, so
I gotta guess.
Okay, who do you think?
still me.
No, someone else said they had a guess.
I'll
No?
keep guessing.
I'm gonna oof.
say it,
You're
Jeff.
cool.
Come on, say it, Jeff.
Milam.
Milam and Green. That's your guess?
I'm gonna-
Why?
I could lean towards.
I've had one of their. I'll be honest. I've only had one pour out of any of their bottles, and it. I'm gonna have to stick with Milam. Or all of them like.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and introduce our distiller and our distillery. Jeff, you are correct. This is Milam and Green. And let me introduce our filled barrel for tonight. We actually have an extremely special guest. This is Marlene Holmes, and let's bring her video off and unmute her. And there she is. Marlene, how are you doing?
You are
Here she is.
No, she's still on mute.
Wrong one.
We fix that. Hey, guys.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Nice guess there, Jeff. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Very good.
So for everybody who has not had the pleasure and honor of meeting Marlene, Marlene Holmes is, I'm going to say, an icon in the industry. Marlene, you started, well, now it's been 30 years ago, I think, probably back in
Yeah, it's been a
She
few
was 4.
years anyway, yeah.
she was 4. So you came from
Thank you,
Jim Beam.
Bruce.
You were at Jim Beam for 27 years.
Right, yes, yeah. Started there and, worked with the fellas there for 27 years and decided to make my way to Texas and, joined the group here at Milam Greene. And actually this week is 3 years that I've been here in Texas.
I was going to say, I was actually looking at a couple of the articles. There was an AARP article, there was an article in Distillers Weekly, and a couple others that were talking about this.
Yeah, they've got me in the old folks journals. Yeah, yeah.
It's actually a great
What can I
article.
say?
It was a great article. And you know, guys, one of the reasons why I'm so excited about having Marlene available to us, it's not just because of her time in the industry, but the people she trained under and the people that helped mentor her and bring her up are names that we all see on bottles that we try to get. And Marlene was able to work and study and train under those people, the Bookers and the Lees and all of those people. So the craftsmanship, craftswomanship that we have here and the knowledge to be able to pick her brain, I love every moment I get to have to sit down with her. But before we go any further, Marlene, are we close?
Maybe a couple of you are. Is what that is. That's a new release that's going to come out here in just a few weeks. We took, and it's a 13-year-old bourbon. That is a bourbon. It's 13 years old.
Wow.
And we took about 30 barrels thereabout. Heather took those barrels, took them with her home, and for a whole month, she went through those samples, barrel samples, and she selected the best 20. And that's what you've got there, is the best 20 out of that 30 some barrels. Yeah. And it's a 108.5 on the proof. Yeah. But we're real pleased with it. We think it's a really good one. As a matter of fact, here in a few weeks, we'll have a little bit more news come out on that release, a little bit more information on it. Yeah. But
So where are these barrels from?
Pardon?
Where are the barrels from?
Those are Tennessee, from Tennessee. Yeah. And it's
MGP? No, that's not MGP.
No, it's not MGP.
No. No.
That's not MGP juice.
No. But yeah, that's 108 proof, a little over 108 proof. And we think it's really going to be a good release. There's only a little over 400 cases. So it will probably move pretty quick. I don't know what the price on it is yet. That's out of my league. I don't keep up with that, but I'm assuming it'll probably be around the century mark anyway. If not a little higher than that, possibly. Yeah.
And you're gonna hide a bottle or two for James.
Oh yeah,
right?
Just put a case aside right now. It's done.
Yeah.
And what are we calling it?
Marlene, the next time you need a place to store 30 barrels, I got plenty of room.
Okay. I hear you. Thanks. I'll keep that in mind. Yeah. So what was the question?
Oh, I was wondering if you could tell us what you're calling it.
Oh yeah, that's a very good too. That's going to be called the Castle Hill series, batch number 1. Our home office is located in Austin at Castle Hill. And so we went through probably, and I kid you not, probably 40, 50, 60 names. And somebody, come up with that. And it just rang a bell with all of us. We pretty much, do about everything we do out here by committee. We vote on it, and that's the one that folks like the best. So that'll be Castle Hill Series batch number 1. Yeah.
This is absolutely beautiful. And I never would have guessed bourbon. Obviously, I didn't guess bourbon. I said it wasn't a bourbon. But part of that is because I know you're a Texas distillery and we're so used to the Texas bourbons And this, you know, well, it's not Texas juice, but it absolutely is beautiful.
Nice, good. Well, I made some notes. I jotted the notes while I was listening to you guys, because you know, like to pass those on to the folks, and you know, what notes you get out of it, tasting notes and what have you. So I've jotted a few notes down to pass along to the people. Yeah.
So I'm sure the rest of us are going to sit here and just want to smell and drink on this, but we have a couple other bottles to go through, and I didn't do the blind tasting on those. And I jumped right to number 3 because I didn't want your palate to be corrupted by other flavors. I want us to start off with something brand new. And again, Marlene, thank you for allowing us to try this first. When we were there at the distillery talking to her, she's like, just hold on a minute. She ran to the back and came back. By the way, I remember I'm covered. She ran to the back and came back with bottle. There's no label. There's nothing on here. She didn't tell us what it was. I asked her. She goes, no, it doesn't work that way. You said it was blind. It's blind.
Yeah.
And
listen, you guys are the first. I mean, we've tasted it here, the folks here in the distillery, naturally Heather and a couple of the guys there at the office in Austin, but you folks are the first group of people that have had a sneak preview of this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
it's an honor.
You know, that's what it's all about, is, you know, coming up with something pretty cool to put in a bottle and to share with people. You know, that it's all about the whiskey. It's all about the whiskey.
Absolutely. While everyone's kind of finishing this one, I don't want to rush them on it, but we do have 2 other bottles to taste. While we're all doing that, can you tell us maybe a quick, you mentioned Heather, and I don't know that everybody here knows who Heather Greene is, but she is the new CEO and partner with Marcia. Can you maybe expand on that a little bit and who Heather is?
Absolutely. Yeah, Heather's been with us now 2 years. She's been with us, and Heather is a whiskey expert. She's an author of a book, Whiskey Distilled, and it's a very well written book. I've read the whole thing, and I've read excerpts of it several times. But for a layman that doesn't know a lot about the process or the history, it's in that book. But she, you know, has worked with Glenfiddich, William Grant. She's traveled the world working with Japanese whiskey, the Scotch folks over in Europe. So she's been in the business now about 25 years, and decided to get away from the traveling, kind of settle down a bit. So she's made her home here in South Austin. And yeah, she's our CEO, steering this ship, and is doing a fantastic job. She's the hardest working person, and I won't say lady, I will say person, in the whiskey business. And, you know, and I know a few folks in the whiskey business, and that lady has got it going on. I mean, she's fantastic to work with. Absolutely.
Yeah, Marcia put together an all-star team. Marcia Milam, who's the one of the owners there, founder of, and the name used to be Ben Milam, and that changed when Heather Greene came on. And the Milam and Greene distillery, there's one guy. It's not there. I know there's a couple, but I mean, you've got Heather, you've got you, Marcia, Chandler. You know, your team is strong, but the product that's coming out, I think you guys are one of the hidden gems. But you're no longer hidden. You guys just won Texas Whiskey Festival, didn't you?
I know. We did. And I tell you, I get cold chills. I swear I got cold chills now. That was such a cool honor to have from, you know, that's coming straight from the folks that drink your product. And there's no better measure than, you know, the people, the customers, the folks that enjoy what you've got out there. So that was, I mean, we were all high-fiving and hooping and hollering one another that day when we found that out. That was a very exciting day for us, absolutely.
So the second or the first bottle, if you guys want to go ahead and grab your first bottle, if you're done with what you just had, the first bottle is what we're going to try now. And this is the triple cask, and it's the blend of straight bourbon whiskeys. Can you tell us a little bit about this one? Because this one got a 93 on Wine Enthusiast, I think it was, that you got a 93.
Yeah, That's
And
right.
that's the one that won.
Yeah, and I probably am not supposed to tell this, but I'm going to go ahead and tell it anyway because I'm just that proud of it. We just found out today, or actually late last night, that triple cast won a double gold at the San Francisco Spirits competition. So
Wow. Congratulations.
it's just that is pretty amazing because we had just tweaked that blend in December. So that blended of 3 different aged whiskeys has more of our Texas juice in it than it originally did. So that's pretty good accolades for our Texas whiskey in that blend. But yeah, that's got 3 different aged. It's got a 12-year-old whiskey in it. It's got a 5-year-old whiskey in it. And then it's got a 3-year-old Texas whiskey in it. And there again, that was all done by committee. We sit down in a group, we batched those 3 ages together, come up with a proof of 94. And to me, you can taste all 3 of those ages in that. You get a little hint of everything in there.
Yeah, it moves across your tongue at different levels.
Do you ever tell how much, or at least give a area of how much like Texas whiskey is, the percentage or not, or you just say no, it's a blend?
Well, we don't, and the reason being behind that is because we will constantly tinker with that, and we're going to change that. You know, we want to try to stick with a similar profile, but we will tweak that over time. We've tweaked it twice now. And so it'll just change. But, you can, our recipe here, our mash bill here in Blanco is a high rye, what a lot of folks would consider a high rye recipe. It's 22%. So that one is the one that, to me, that's what you get right off the bat. It kind of pops up in your mouth. You get that spicy, that peppery taste out of it. It's what I call the teenager or the juvenile out of the bunch. It's kind of sassy, so it just jumps up in your mouth. And then you get a little sweet notes off of that 5-year-old, and then the finish on it there with that 12-year-old just gives you some of the woody, the oak, a little more of a structured authority type finish on it.
It does linger.
Yeah.
The long finish.
Marlene, is this what we're tasting, batch 2 version recipe, or the original one?
That batch you've got there is probably batch, oh gosh, we've been putting that together now for almost 2 years.
I thought you mentioned you had 2 different ones that you kind of had out.
Well, it's what we did. Yeah, so to speak. I see what you're saying now. Yeah, the first several months we come out was the same batch, same formula, and then we just tweaked that. So yes, sir, it is the second batch that is what you've got now. What you've got now is what just won us a double gold medal. Yeah.
Marlene, James is always talking about his favorite bottle from a distillery. Well, you're my favorite bottle. This one here, I love this bottle. I've got 2 of these sitting in my cabinet.
Nice.
And,
Thank you.
and Kenny, I mean, many of you guys have been to my home bar. You guys have been with me out in places and stuff. And, we tease, I do. So it's my favorite bottle. This is the bottle I take places with me. This is one of the few bottles I have several, and I mean several. There's 2 more bottles sitting up there right now, and I got another one over here. I share when people come to me and say, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Texas stuff. This distillery and what Marlene has put together and the blending that happened with this is absolutely one of my favorite blends. I'm making the key there. It's a blend.
Yeah.
But to me, and Marlene, I'd love to have a conversation about this. And you know what? It's my show, so we're going to have a conversation about this. When we talk about what you did at Jim Beam, you made, was it 1,400 barrels a day or some stupid number like that?
Yeah. When I was hired there in 1990, it was about 700 barrels a day, 650, 700. And then when I left, it was creeping up at about 1,450 a day. Yeah, it's just monster in size. It's crazy.
But that flavor profile, people are used to having that consistent flavor profile. And with that many barrels in the rick house, it's pretty easy to go in there and pick out some barrels and blend it up. And there's that flavor profile because you have so much to store. And you're not blending 1 or 2 or 9 barrels. You're blending hundreds of barrels.
Yeah, yeah.
So
A dump at Beam would be like 250 barrels. That would be considered one dump. And that was back, 3 years ago. And so who knows what they're doing now, but yeah.
So to me, the craftsmanship that it takes to produce consistency, and like I said, we went out and visited you guys, 2.5 years ago, I think it was, when we came out and did the Blanco hat trick with the whiskey trail. And
It's a year and a half.
it was only a year and a half ago. Longer than that.
No.
COVID is just
It's too long and every day.
every day. I'm just
Every day.
totally gone. It was a while.
To him, the COVID year is 5 years.
Yeah, it's 5 years long. Yeah.
I hear
But the craftsmanship it takes to do a small craft distillery and have the flavor profiles be consistent. I think that's a testament to you and your abilities and your craftsmanship. And
Yeah,
I think it comes out in the bottles and what
Yeah.
you're producing.
yeah. Well,
I think it's gotten better.
I appreciate that, but James, I do. I appreciate that, but it goes back to our team. We've got a great team here, and folks are very passionate about what we do and how we do it, and their attention to detail. But we taste everything. I mean, we just do. It's not uncommon to see Canyon. Canyon's our brewer walking around days that grain comes in with white dot on the tip of his nose. And when I see him like that, I'm like, well, we've got a load of corn today because he's had his hand down. He'll taste, we've told him, you got to taste that corn, smell that corn, squeeze that corn. And it's, it's all a part of paying attention to detail and the passion that the folks have here in what we do. Like I said, it's all about the whiskey. So, if you don't start out with good grains and have attention to detail in your process, then, you're not going to end up with good whiskey.
So let's talk about that corn. What are you guys using? Where are you getting from? Tex Mall, Balcones? What are you doing?
It's coming from up north out of Amarillo. Maverick Malt House is bringing the corn in, and then we're having it ground locally here by James Brown over here just outside of Austin.
Is this a yellow corn, I'm assuming?
It is, yeah. And we hope to venture out a little bit. This has really been an exciting, week and a half for us, actually. First of all, the People's Choice at the Texas Whiskey Festival, very cool. And then they actually brought equipment in and started digging dirt, moving earth. So we're under expansion right now. And then last night we got the word that we, want a double gold plus 2 or 3 other medals with our entry. So it's just a really exciting time for us right now. We're so happy to be doing what we're doing. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank
Well deserved.
Yeah.
How many of you guys have never tried Milam Greene before? Just, quick show of hands. I know Eric and Kendall and there's a couple of you guys.
A small pour and that's it. Like a pour and that was about it. My
What do you
sister
think?
loves it. And oh my God, like I said, you all have introduced me to Texas and I got to quit hunting for all that shit. Sorry.
So we did our job.
I was about to say, Jeff, you got 65 distilleries you got to go to.
Hey, we got some work to do, my friend. You need to come over to my home bar here. We'll take you for a trip around the.
I could pay my mortgage like 4 times on what I have behind me.
So Marlene, you mentioned you guys are expanding there, and if you guys haven't been out there to Blanco, if you right when you come into the north side of Blanco, there's a Napa, and right behind that Napa is Milam Greene.
Yep.
They are the reason we have never actually ventured all the way into Blanco.
Yeah, we've made it down to the barbecue joint that loves Chuck Norris. That's about as far as we've gone.
There's a Dairy Queen. I hit that whenever I went to the other one the other day.
Thursday.
I was starving, and that's my only option.
Yeah, we tell people you got to come through Napa Valley to get to Milam Greene.
Nice.
Yeah, but there's a lot of great distilleries right here. Rocks throw from us. Across the street, you got Davin over at Real Spirits, and then you got Ty and Tommy. I don't know if Tommy's still there or not. I know Ty is.
Tommy's still there, but they just lost Hunter.
Yeah, down the street from us, and you got the Garrison crew over back behind us over the hills there. So there's a lot of good brew going on here in Blanco County. Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth the trip out there. Are we done with bottle number 1 or our second bottle tonight?
Yeah, one more question though. On the bottle, it shows, this is the one I have, so it shows artfully proved, matured, and bashed 2019. So is this new one? Does it say 2020, 2021? Is that how I could tell the difference between the one I currently have and the new one?
On the triple cast. Well,
Correct.
Let me just
Yes,
find out right here. I got a bottle just so happened. No, that's a 2019, so that'll probably stay on there as meaning that's when that was established. That'd be my guess on that.
Okay, so I'm just trying to see how I could tell the difference between and get like the newer one, because this is one of the original ones when you guys first brought it out.
Yeah. Well, I can pretty much guarantee you what you're going to buy this year is going to be out of that second batch.
Okay.
Yeah. I tell you, and I apologize if there's some of those answers on the labels and stuff, but I tell people I don't get involved with the labeling and stuff. I just make whiskey, and so anyway, I try my best to answer those questions best I can. But anyway, yeah.
All right, so this is the next bottle, which is bottle number 2, your third bottle tonight. This is the rye whiskey, and this is a rye whiskey finished in a port cask. And what's phenomenal about this is in 2020, last year, you guys won double gold with this one.
That one started out as an experiment. We had 2 barrels we bought brought over from Portugal, and actually 4 barrels. We had 4 barrels we bought from Portugal. And we put 2 different aged rye whiskeys in there. It's about a 2.5-year-old rye and about a 4.5-year-old rye. We batched those 2 ryes together and put them in those port barrels. We had no idea. We got those barrels in March. We had no idea what, the Texas heat would do to that rye in those port barrels. So I went down every week and was pulling samples. And after about 7 weeks, that was ready to be dumped. Actually, it got a little bit too porty. We had to add just a little bit of rye to it. But that one I think is, it really surprises folks because a lot of people aren't rye whiskey drinkers.
Right.
But that port kind of rounds that out a little bit. Take some of that spicy out of it, and it's just really nice. It's great with a dessert after dinner drink. Very nice.
I do have to say that all of the port finished whiskeys I've had, or even bourbons that I've had up until trying Milam Greenes, I haven't liked them. I'm kind of a port, I guess I'm more of a port snob.
There's
So, but then I took a chance and I tried the Milam Greene and I love it.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
So I have 3 bottles of the triple cask. We have 3 bottles of the Milam Greene rye port finish here. So that kind of tells you where a household sits as far as
runs the bank account.
Yes. Well, and I'm sorry.
I really like the sweet and spicy. So I feel like, the port and the rye, or even a sherry and a rye, would go really well together because it would balance each other out.
Exactly.
It would give it that sweet with a pop of spice.
There you go. Yeah, the best of both worlds. We're looking at maybe next year we may do something in a sherry cask. Throw a little bit in one, see what we can come up with. Yeah.
All right.
This
What
this would make a great old fashioned.
Yes, it actually does.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
Just
Nice.
take it neat.
And they have a was the chocolate old fashioned that they make there in the bar.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Marlene, can you tell us about this fantastic bottle, the Distillers Edition?
The distillery edition. That's what I was drinking. I love that one. That's 121.9 proof. That was the first 7 barrels that we made on our pot still here in Blanco. And that one's pretty special too. Now that one, I'll tell you too, won a medal. I don't remember what medal it won, but that's right out of the gate on that. So, but yeah, that's the first 7 bottles that we produced here on our pot still. None of them are quite 3 years old. The average age on that whiskey would be about 2 years and 9 months, something like that. 2 years, 10 months at the time when we dumped it anyway. That was last August when we dumped it. Yeah.
And I'll tell you guys, this is a bottle that Ian and I, this bottle right here actually is what Ian and I killed half of in one night on Whiskey Stones. So we took Whiskey Ball with that, and it was half the bottle in one night. Fantastic.
There's still some of those bottles at the distillery.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. Now we don't have, I think we've got, I looked at the case count there on that today because I had to grab a couple of cases to put back in the archives, and we've got about 14 cases of that left, and that'll be gone. But now the good news is working on the second batch. About the middle of next month, I'll go down and start pulling samples on batch number 2, and we hope to release that the 1st of September. So we're hoping to have a release, every year along that line. Yeah.
So here's the question, and while we talk about that, you guys also make Provision Gin. And before we get into much of the details on the gin, this, as you know, is her favorite bottle. Truly, it is. I mean, but when distilleries start, it takes a while for your barrels to age and for your juice to be ready. And this bottle is one of the first full 100% Texas grain to glass products that's come out of Milam Greene. Right. Is this what we can expect moving forward to be this? Plus, you're still going to have your blends coming out of Kentucky. But is this what we can expect coming forward?
Please don't discontinue, Jen.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't see, anything changing right now. We're going to hold the course because things are working for us. And, the priority will still be making bourbon and then the flagships that we've got. And to add to that, the single barrel that we've got, that will still be in the mix as well. But yeah, I don't see anything changing, not in the near future anyway.
Here is the single barrel, and you guys just released this just a couple months ago. This was actually the 12-year, the special release, the anniversary release that we had all you guys.
Nice.
Quit bragging about the signatures.
Be jealous is all I gotta say. Be jealous.
That was a fun event. That was a lot of fun.
I guess my question, I'm trying to look through your site real quick, and yeah, you blend and all, different things from different years from Tennessee, I guess, right? Not Kentucky. But do you plan on a pure Texas one anytime soon, or?
Well, no, that distillery edition is pure
that
Texas.
is okay.
Yes,
that's why I was asking. I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yeah, that's right out of our pot still here in Blanco, and then middle of next month, middle of May, I'll start working on batch number 2 that come out of the pot still as well. Yeah, but we're very open and transparent about what we do. About the only thing we won't tell you is a whole lot about the yeast and what have you, our process. There's a few little tricks of the trade that we do in house we don't share, but other than that, we're pretty open. But yeah, we go up to Kentucky a couple of times a year and make whiskey up there. On a column still. We make whiskey here every day. So, we buy whiskey.
My sister and I didn't hate the sweet.
Yeah. Like I said, it's all about the whiskey.
Oh yeah, now that's why I said I was glancing through, so I missed it. Yeah, as I read closer on that one, yeah, I see it's all Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Marlene, on the stuff you get from Tennessee, pre-COVID, let's just jump back 18 months. Did you get them to send you samples of barrels, or did you make trips out there to do the barrel picks?
Yeah, well, there's a broker and they just send us samples.
Okay.
We've got two different brokers. We've got one in Kentucky and one in Tennessee that we work with, and they just randomly will send samples. As a matter of fact, I checked the mailbox here the other day, one day last week, in front of the distillery, and there was a little box in there that had 3 little sample bottles in it. You know, most of the time we don't even request anything. They just, you know, they've worked with us and they just send samples to us.
So
I'm
is it a
actually
little bit
told
like?
once
Oh,
I get a DSP, that's something it'll start happening. And I'm like, really? They just send you?
We're not a Marlene. I'm just gonna say you're not a Marlene.
No, not even close. But I've been told.
no, but based on our
Be
answer,
gr-
I'm
be
going
grateful
to
you got some
ask:
samples.
is it a little bit like then California with grapes as far as wine goes? You don't, you know, you want a Merlot or a Cabernet, but you don't necessarily care exactly which vineyard it came from. They're just sending you samples that match the things you
Yeah.
want out of it, right?
Yeah, yeah. We're not trying to pinpoint any particular distillery. I mean, we don't even know. These bottles that come to us have the broker's identification and ID on it, and that's it. And yeah, and like I said, you know, it's all about the whiskey. As a matter of fact, one of the bosses told me the first year I was here, he said, hell, I don't care if I go to Japan or Australia. If I come up with a nice barrel whiskey, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to bring it back to Blanco. We're going to put it in a bottle. We're going to sell it.
That'll be a bit expensive for Mossy.
Yeah, but it's just, you know, it's about the whiskey. It is about the whiskey.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I really love about Milam Greene is, and I'm not going to talk bad about any distillery. I never do. I never will. We never talk bad about any bottles. What I do love is at Milam Greene, their tasting room is beautiful. It's small, it's quaint, and you're there to taste whiskey, and you're there to taste the product. And they've got a big roll-up door that's open, and they got a big glass window that you stare into the still. You're watching them produce the product, washing it down, bottling it, doing all that. I'll shut up. I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah.
You really told me to zip it.
That's
But-
not right.
No, I know. Did you see that?
I tell him to shut up all the time. It's all right.
But I mean that's what's so awesome about Milam Greene is nothing's hidden. It's all there. It's open. It's for you to see. And it is about the whiskey. When we went out there and we did our tour, and I think we were one of your first tours that you guys had out there. And it was funny because there was actually a bachelor party trying to sneak in on our tour. We're like, but they, you know, you guys had the grain, you had everything laid out for us to sample and try, and it was really about what goes into what you're making.
Yeah.
And even on your anniversary party, again, you had the rick house open. You could step in there, you could see what's going on, you taste special stuff.
The beautiful design of a rick house.
It is.
I love the gap at the bottom, letting air through.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, we was concerned about the heat and the temperature. Yeah. So, you know, we've got it well insulated, the roof and the walls. And then if you go into Kentucky now, all the old rick houses, I'm not sure about the big ones they're building nowadays, but all the old ones had the skirt pulled up, you know, 6 inches or so. And it was all about that circulation, you know, getting that airflow through there. And so we just kind of mimicked a little bit about what they're doing there. You know, if something's working for somebody, you know, might as well give it a try. You know, about the hottest I've seen it in our rick house on a hot August day is about 96 degrees.
Wow.
And actually doesn't feel bad. You know, that
that's great.
actually, was not bad. Yeah.
Have you found different parts of the rick house are producing drastically different flavors, and do you catalog that at all? And if this is secret, you know, feel free to tell me shut up. But
I haven't. I have not. The rick house we've got now is only 6 barrels deep, 4 barrels high. And so I have not been able to tell a difference in that. Now we're getting ready to pour concrete here in a few weeks on a new rick house. That rick house will hold a few more barrels. The barrels will be a little deeper in that rick house. So it remains to be seen, but I can't see that much difference in them right now in the samples that I pull. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
In a smaller rick house, does it stay warmer? Do they like insulate themselves?
I think it does. Yeah, it stays a little warmer because at home in the summertime, everybody wanted to work on the crews that were working in the bottom floor of the rick houses because, man, it was like air conditioned, because all of them had old dirt floors. So, it was like air conditioned. In the wintertime now, you want to be on those crews that's working up in the top floor, 6th and 7th floor, because, that's where it was much warmer. But there's a drastic difference in the 1st and the 7th floor in those rick houses. I just don't think ours is quite high enough and deep enough to make, if it makes a difference, it's a pretty subtle difference that there is. Yeah.
All right. I want to
Marlene,
switch.
did y'all think about digging down like 8 to 10 feet to almost make a dunnage?
We have. We've thought about that. As a matter of fact, I've even asked the guys, we've got a hill behind us. I'm like,
Yeah.
let's dig into that hill. We
Maker's
could go 3 barrels high into this hill back here and give us some natural cooling that way, by the earth, but we just really don't have the property. You want to have a pretty good amount of space all the way around those rick houses in case something happens,
Well, like alcohol vapor?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, absolutely.
I could listen to Maureen talk all night long. Her voice, I'm in love with Maureen. Just don't tell my wife.
Okay.
That's why I keep saying, it's an honor for me to be able to talk to Marlene and we mentioned last week, Marlene, we had Davin on, and Davin's history at High West.
Yeah.
You and I have talked about having that roundtable conversation with all of you guys sitting around a table, and actually, Jeff, you spent an hour or two with Davin after last week's event. Marlene is the same way, just getting to spend time with her and pick her brain and listen to her. I'll say your theory, but what drives you, what motivates you, what goes into what you're producing. To me, it's a highlight of my whiskey career, and it's not really a career, but what we do. It's absolutely a privilege.
That it's a fun business to be in. It really is. And one of the cool things here, that I have the opportunity to do outside of making whiskey is bringing young folks into the business and being able to work with them. And that's a real treat. I've got a 22-year-old, I've got a 26-year-old, I've got a couple of 30-year-old folks, and none of them had ever been in the whiskey business, bourbon business before. They've started from scratch, and they're like sponges. I mean, they really want to learn this business. They're passionate, they love it, and it's just a real treat every day to be able to come to work and work with folks like that, to be able to share what I do with them. Yeah, and plus I tell them I'm not going to be around forever, so they better get their butt in gear and learn what they can.
Well, that's very true. It's not just you, but Chandler and Heather, and your whole team is just fantastic, and everyone's a blessing to work with. I want to switch gears slightly, and I don't want to skip over your gin and Provision Distillers Gin. Now, that's a whole different name. It's not Milam Greene Gin. It's Provision Gin. And this was made specifically to make the perfect martini. And we don't mean perfect like perfect in the world, but perfect as a type of martini. Can you maybe expand a little bit on that for us?
Yeah, boy, I wish I could, but I tell you, when they hired me, they told me, they said, now we've got a little still and we're going to be making some gin. And I'm like, guys, I've never made gin in my life. I don't even drink gin. I don't like gin. And they're like, oh, you'll be fine. Don't worry
Great.
about it. So anyway, that's got like 12 botanicals in it. It makes I like that gin, and I'm not just saying it because we make it here, but it's unlike any gin that I'd had many years ago. Was very dry to me. I just didn't particularly like it. But now Brenda, the lady here in the tasting room, has a couple of nice cocktails that she makes with gin. But we're hoping to now, once we finish our expansion, is to pull that pot still in there, and we'll have the resources as far as the steam and the chill ability to be able to make bourbon and gin at the same time. Right now, we just make gin generally in the winter time, just because the water temperatures have cooled off enough to allow us to do so. But yeah, we've had a lot of good comments about our gin.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, this is kind of an interpretation of a London dry gin. So, but it's more botanical forward than you would get on a London dry. Something we've already tasted through several of Texas gins. This is along the Texas gin line, but it's a London dry style.
Yeah, you really get the lavenders and the juniper notes, a little of
lavender and Blanco, really?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, and that's a great thing too. We're getting our lavender locally here now to put in our gin. So that's nice to be able to buy locally to do that.
Yeah, I love the way that you guys support the local economy there in Blanco.
Yes.
Best hand sanitizer, according to my wife. She loves that lavender that was in there. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This stuff right here.
There you go.
How can you not like lavender?
I know. Yeah.
Pardon me while I take some more of this bottle that nobody else has and have a little bit more.
So, Marlene, any chance you're going to be there Wednesday after lunch?
I will be. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
I will stop in to say hi on my 50th.
Oh, nice. Absolutely. I'll buy you a cocktail. Yeah, absolutely.
So Bruce is driving from San Angelo, just so you know. Bruce is driving, 3 hours out here to see you.
Wow.
That's right, just to see Marlene.
All right. Nice.
You have that much time and you can't stop and see us.
Wow.
Question on the Castle Hill. When will that be releasing? 2 to 3 weeks?
That'll be mid to late May. Yeah. And it's a pretty limited, it will not be sold. We don't even have enough of it to even sell here at the tasting room.
Wait, so where is it available at?
What's that?
How can we get it? Where's it? If it's not going to be at the tasting room,
where?
Yeah.
Who do we need to bribe?
It's going out to our distributors. So Southern Glacier will have it. Now that depends on what stores pick it up. I don't know, what stores may pick it up. I do know one thing, the lady here that owns Hill Country Liquors, Mabel, is fantastic. She is a wonderful partner to work with. We love that lady, and I can guarantee you she'll probably have a few cases of it. But now beyond that, I don't know.
Is that the lady down on the
So we
left
need
hand
to go
side?
into our local liquor. So we need to go into our local liquor store.
Yeah.
And tell them we want your product.
There you go.
So that they bring it.
James, and tell us where your local liquor store that has it is, so we know which one to go to.
Yeah.
I will go talk to Sarah.
Because my ordering tonight is 3-2-1. The 3 was the best, right?
Yeah.
And I know too, on our website, there's a location finder.
There is a where to buy.
Whether that will pinpoint you to that Castle Hill series bottle in particular, I don't know. But it will let you know what liquor stores carries Milam Greene.
So Hill Country, that's one past y'all's place on the left, little red building.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes,
I was in there on Wednesday, talked to the lady, the owner, I think, black hair.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sweet,
they're good
sweet lady.
folks. They're great folks. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay.
And what's great about buying it at a liquor store, you're not limited to 2 bottles or 4 coming up in September.
There you go. Yeah.
So you can buy that case, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'll sell it to you.
Oh, you know I'm getting bottles.
Hey, I'll hold my bottles like y'all are holding my bottles.
They're sitting right over there. I gotta say, you know, guys, I'm a fan of Milam Greene. Marlene, you know how much I love you and I love what you guys are doing there. I love this new release. This Castle Hill it's gonna probably be one of my new favorites. I know you guys are getting tired of hearing that, but
Not at all.
Anyone else any questions for Marlene? No. You have one of the
tasting room or those things, hours, and are you back to any sort of normalcy, or what's going on there? Let's do that, right?
Yeah,
Let's
that's
ask
a
that
great.
one.
Yeah, Michael, thanks for asking that. That's a great question. Actually, the tasting room is Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5. And we actually do a bit of a happy hour on Fridays. We're open till about 6 o'clock. But yeah, we're pretty much, Brenda kind of limits the number of folks here in the tasting room. You know, it doesn't take very many folks though to get crowded in here. You know, it's small, but now we've got a beautiful area out front underneath our oak trees, picnic tables. There's chairs out there. Every third Saturday of the month, we have music. We've got a Father's Day event coming up, a bottle your own event. I'm going to go down, pick out a nice 12-year-old barrel, and folks can come in and bottle their own. We're going to have barbecue.
I will have to tell my daughter.
Yeah, we'll have live music.
Hey, Allie, Ben, Connor.
Yeah.
I was there Saturday, and it looked like it was, you know, a year or two ago. It looked like normal running. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Me and Cindy sat under their awesome trees and enjoyed it.
Good deal.
Father's Day, they have a release that you're gonna go and help me get.
It's gonna be in North Carolina.
Yeah, Dad. Go away.
So I have a friend who's new to whiskey. I've known her since middle school. We both grew up in Oregon. Now she lives in San Antonio, and she drives up and down 281 all the time because she's got a family house up Lake Buchanan or something.
Yeah.
If I were to bring her by, when would you be there?
I'm here every day, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, every day. Now, with that being said, I am off this Thursday and Friday. It's Derby
Glad I'm coming
weekend.
Wednesday.
So
Derby weekend, yeah.
it's Derby
sense.
weekend, man. So I am going. There's some Kentucky folks in North Carolina. I'm going to go spend the weekend with, and we're going to watch the ponies run.
We don't get to see your hat. What hat are you
I
gonna
know,
wear?
yeah. I don't know. We'll see about that. We'll see about that, Bruce. We'll see.
Special box to fly with.
Yeah.
All right, I got a
Yes,
question.
anytime.
Good.
All right, question. So when we were out there for the birthday and got the 12-year bottle, which it's sitting in a special place with the signatures, there was talk about a special release that was a charity bottle. I don't remember who the charity was for.
Yes.
But status on that one?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. That is a project that's near and dear to Marcia Milam. Marcia is on the board for an organization in Austin that's called Home, HOME, and basically is what that is. They help retired musicians, you know, with in their retirement years. But Marcia picked out a barrel that day, and we will take that barrel. We're going to bottle it. We're just waiting on the labels to come in, the stickers to come in for it. But that bottle will be available here locally to buy. And we're going to go with barrel strength on that. I don't know what the proof on that one is, but it's a 5-year-old whiskey, and it's a really nice one. But that should be released once we get we're able to bottle it. We have the stickers to bottle it. My guess would be maybe sometime in June, July, that should be out. Yeah, and it's a great cause. All the money from it will go to that home organization. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I remember we were lucky enough to get a small little tasting of it.
Sweet.
And it was absolutely incredible.
Nice.
Yeah.
So looking forward to trying to get a bottle and support the cause.
Nice. Thanks, John. Thank you.
So I'm gonna look over here at Mark and Mike and Garrett, and you guys have been pretty quiet. What I thumbs up, thumbs down. You guys can keep your mic muted. You liking? You not liking? Double thumbs up. I think it just says it all.
So yeah, so Mike has been a fan of the port finish rye
Since last year.
and I was a huge fan of the triple cask. He made the mistake of buying the wrong bottle. With my benefit, because they ended up in my bar.
Nice.
8 months because it didn't last. Yeah, I need to get out there because we're looking forward to that distillery series and the new bottle,
That Castle Hill.
Castle Hill. So very much.
Absolutely.
This is one of the few distilleries that I have actually visited, and I have been there. I enjoyed their stuff very much tonight, and I plan to go to the Hill Country this coming Saturday. So I'm going to go by again.
Nice. Thank you. Thank
Excellent. For those of you guys who, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stop the recording now, and we can do happy hour here real quick. For those of you guys who have signed up, Michael, I know you're one of them. We last year before COVID hit, we had talked about doing a whiskey 101 class and kind of going through whiskey, how to drink, how to taste, history of bourbon, scotch, all that other stuff.